It's fiddly bit time again, one step closer to flight. Thanks for watching.
Welcome back to the hangar. I've got a little bit of work to do here on the airplane, and I'm making some changes. One of them is this air filter. I'm going to remove it, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. It's a problem an awful lot of you Challenger owners also have, and something that that really needs to be addressed. Oh, that safety wire sure is tight, or tough stuff anyways, which is good. You don't want it to be weak and easily broken. All right. It's also sharp when you cut it. There's little sharp ends on it. Okay, come on, come on. There we go. Pull this piece out. Don't lose it. Okay, now, air filter. Ugh, it's oily. There. Let's take a close look at this. Notice how it's punched in and all that. It's kind of caved in there. Yeah, it's like on that on both sides. That happens because the rubber, after a couple dozen years, gets hard as a rock. And people take these things and they start punching them down. Well, this has been like this since I bought the airplane. But just last week, I went and shone a light on it and looked inside, and there are holes in it. Like it tore, which means it probably wouldn't destroy the engine, but probably is not good enough. One little grain of sand gets in there and scrapes the heck out of the cylinder wall, and you're pooched. And look how, I don't know if you can see this, but it is quite deformed. There might be a way to rejuvenate this rubber, and I will do that in another video. But right now, I have a new filter. Now, I bought this filter, and it's new. I got it from a friend, and brand new. These filters have tripled in price. They are now $200. They used to be around the $60 range. Apparently, that's what I was told. But yeah, they're about $200 now. So don't go punching yours down and crushing them. There. See, it's nice and flat, and the rubber is very soft and supple. This should slide on beautifully. I'm not throwing the other one away. I'm going to see what I can do with it. Keep it as a spare for whatever reason, you know. But yeah, that's the start of what I'm doing today. And yeah. Try not to smash yours down. I'll put these on the right way so I can reach the screw ends. That's good. The tabs at the top, because that's where the safety wire goes. And oh my, does that ever go on nicely? Oh, that's what it's like when they're new. Ooh, very nice. Okay, very, very nice. Okay, now, let's, I'm going to have to wipe all my tools down afterwards because it's, well, oily. Now it's oily from the factory. I'm just putting this thing on right now. I plan on cleaning this air filter before I do any real flying with this. And get this all the way on. It is. And tightened up. Good. And then this side. Get this thing started. And once I get it started, I will push this filter on all the way so it's seated. And like that. There. I'm not going to safety wire it right now because this is going to come off. I just wanted to ensure the fit is proper, and it is. I do have to wash this. It's got the factory oil on it. Now, according to Bob Robertson, who is the authority figure on Rotax engines for North America, he said, basically wash it, degrease it, do not oil it, and put it on. I thought, really? He says, yeah. You're not driving down dusty roads. You're taking off on a gravel strip and then you're up in the air. Very little dust up there. It says, and these carburetors do spit oil back as they're running. It's just a natural thing of the two-stroke engine, and there's kind of like self-oiling, he said. So just wash them, let them air dry, and put them on. He's the authority, and literally. And yeah, so there we go. New air filter. Not crushed and does not have holes in it. So that's the first thing I'm doing today. Got a bunch of other things to do. I'm going to film a bit of it. And thank you very much for following me here in the hangar. I'm going to say this early. Hit that like and subscribe button. And leave a comment. Just say hello, even something. I've noticed, like all the other people who have a YouTube channel, that 90% of the people who watch aren't subscribers. It's cool that people are interested. I appreciate that. And I appreciate them watching. It says, but hitting that subscribe button costs you nothing. Other than you have to be logged in. A lot of people watch YouTube without ever logging into it. So that's where that comes from a lot, I imagine. But if you're logged in with your own Gmail account as your login, go ahead and just click that subscribe button and see if I can get over 1,000 this year. That'd be cool. Okay, so brand new air filter. Even says Rotax on it. Cool. From K&N. K&N, what are you guys doing with your pricing? Seriously? Okay, onward. This was the first thing I wanted to do. I've got a laundry list of what I wanted to do today. This was number one. So number two, I'm going to go to that nose cone and I'm going to show you a little problem. So I'm going to stop the recording, move the camera, and be right back in a split second in your time.
2 very boring minutes later.
Okay, I'm back. Well, this next little cleanup project is to do with this front cover. It's, some of you may have noticed, I've got a fiberglass front cover. There's a screw right here. I don't think that screw is holding on to anything. Oh, well, it's barely. Wonderful invention. Makes access to the front half of this easy without having to remove the whole nose cone. In my case, I'd have to remove the windscreen and everything else to get this nose cone off. And it works quite well. Oh, I got a weather stripping on here. It looks like it's sticking onto the weather stripping. Come on. Let go. Let go. That's a good boy. There we go. Okay. The problem I'm having, and it's unfortunate, but the screws that are meant to hold this down, oh, even that one's coming loose. Okay. The nuts, I should say, not the screws, but the nuts. Oh, that one's already gone. Fell off somewhere. Okay, the nuts, oh, this one coming off, break off. They're glued on with epoxy, but they're not sticking. I re-glued this one on, actually, I just pulled off, and it just pulled off again. And that was sanded, wiped down with MEK, totally degreased, fresh epoxy glue, and it still did not stick. It broke off. So, on one of them up here, I installed a nut plate. And it just an experiment. Will it work? It worked beautifully. So I'm going to break all the rest of the nuts off that haven't broken off, and I'm going to install nut plates on all these. There's 8 of them. There's 4 on either side that hold them off, and that's the project for this, is to get that onto nut plates rather than the nuts that are glued on, which you're going to break off, and you know what's going to happen. It'll break off, and then you try to take it off, and it spins and spins and spins, and you can't remove the cover. That's the best case scenario. The worst case scenario is that that you take it off for whatever reason, and you're not at home, and you have to put it back on, and it breaks off, and the thing's flapping, and you can't tighten it down. So I'm putting nut plates on, which means it'll be riveted on and done. So that's the next step. I'll film a little bit, maybe, or maybe not. I don't know. It's just putting on nut plates. But first thing I got to do is peel off the weather stripping that I applied. I put this very thin foam weather stripping on here, and I did that because I want this cover to be as waterproof as possible. Because remember, this airplane is on floats. And that means it is going to get water spray on it. It's not like, say, oh, it's raining, I'm not going to fly, so I don't have to worry about that. In my case, I'm going to get water spray on this because it's going to be on the water. So I need to make this thing as waterproof as possible. I removed the ring about 2 weeks ago and reinstalled it in exactly the same position, but what I did was I put a bead of silicone all the way around it and sealed it right down, like it's completely watertight on this piece here. So with this weather stripping, which by the way is stuck really nicely, and it will be 100% waterproof. Water will not get in and damage the electronics in behind. So that is what I'm going to be doing right now. And like I said, I might film a little bit. It's just removing the nuts that don't hold on, and putting in nut plates instead. I think you've all seen that kind of stuff, so I don't think I have to worry too much about documenting that sort of stuff. I'll show you the finished product, actually. Yeah, let's just do that. I'll show you the finished product before I put the cover back on. And there's one more thing I have to do as well, and before I put the cover on. 2 more things. Oh, I just noticed that. Boy, the to-do list just keeps on building. This airplane is like having a wife. Honey, I have a honey-do list for you. Yes, Edith. So, okay. Be right back, and I'll show you the finished product with the nut plates installed.
1 hour later.
I'm back. Yes, and the nut plates are in. Let me show you. I'm going to pick up this tripod. It's going to make lots of banging and crashing noises. Maybe. Oh, maybe not, because I got the microphone on my lapel now. Ooh. Okay. Nut plates all the way along. You can see the underside of it. So now this will be held on. There's 4 on either side with nut plates. Now all I've got to do is clean this glue off. That's residual from the previous weather stripping, and put a new weather stripping on. Now the weather stripping I'm using, let me put this tripod down. The weather stripping I am using is off the shelf. As I walk out of camera view, into the back, to see if I can find out where the heck I put that weather stripping. I know I picked it up. Weather stripping. Oh, where did I put you? Oy, oy, oy. You know, my mother used to say, if my head wasn't screwed on, I'd lose that too. Did anyone else have a mother that used to say that? As you look at a blank screen and, okay, it's not there, not there. Where the heck did I put it? I don't know. I'll go looking for it, but yeah, whatever. I was going to show you what kind of weather stripping it is. It's just off the shelf. The most shallow one that they had, the thinnest black foam weather stripping with an adhesive back. I'm pretty sure you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a common hardware store item. So yeah, first got to clear off the glue, put the weather stripping on, and then this is sealed, and I got rid of those glued on nuts would keep falling off. And by the way, removing the ones that were on here was very easy. I put a screw onto the top, rocked it back and forth, and snapped right off. So I thought, oh, yeah. It's a good thing that I did this, because those would have broke off with the vibration, that kind of stuff. And I only had one nut plate on. The rest were all those nuts. I could just see this thing in the air flapping back and forth and then snapping off and going through the prop, and oh, nasty things. So now with nut plates that are riveted on, and I use the flush rivets, which means that in this fiberglass, I had to countersink it a bit. And that's very easy to do. If you have a deburring tool, one of those hand tools, you just spin around, deburring tool, works perfect to countersink for these smaller rivets that the nut plates use. I hope I'm not wearing it down. It doesn't seem I'm wearing down that tool. It still works beautifully on aluminum. So anyways, yeah. That's this part of the update. So onward with a few more things to fix and modify, and I'll be right back and show you that progress in a jiffy. So stay tuned to this bat channel for the same bat time, same bat place. Okay, you old fellas who used to watch the original Batman and Robin, you know, with Adam West, you know what I'm talking about. Put a little like in the and a comment that says, yeah, I remember Batman. So, okay, be right back.
A few moments later.
All right, welcome back. For you, split second. For me, another hour. Pitot tube. Yay. Pitot is installed. But this is very precarious. I've even bumped into it. So, remove before flight. I made a little cover for it. And what this is you know when you buy those ratchet straps, and sometimes they're like way too long, and you cut them and you melt the ends so that they're the right length for what you're using it for. Well, this is a scrap end. Sewed it together. It slides over. Now, why this long end? Well, I just installed a snap over here, and on the strap here, I installed a snap as well. One of these dome snap thingies things. I bought the tool with a bunch of snaps, and now when I slide that on, there you go. It can't come off in the wind, stays there, and it only comes off when I'm ready to fly. So, yeah. If you've got one of these nose-mounted pitot tubes, consider making something that can stay on there. I decided to go this route with a snap and this leftover strapping, that kind of stuff, whatever. And to drill holes or make holes in these things, get a soldering iron with a tiny tip to it, let it heat up, and just melt a hole into it carefully, far enough back so it doesn't fray out, and then there you go. Because if you try to cut or drill a hole, it'll just fray apart on you. So you need to melt it, and the best way to make a hole is to melt it. That's how I made the hole to put the dome snap on. I used a soldering iron straight through, and I bought the tool, which came with a bunch of dies, cutting dies, what have you, and a whole bunch of snaps. Amazon, I think it was like $39. But you know what? it worked really good. And I know I'm going to be using it for other things. So anyways, yeah, so now I have a Pitot tube cover for my Pitot tube. Isn't that cool? So a couple more things to get done here, and then I will close this off. But right now I'm going to carry on with the other things I need to get done. And I will be right back.
2 hours later.
Okay, I'm handheld again, and I'm back. Well, I'm doing a lot of these short cuts and updates. Anyways, oh, you might notice behind me, that is, got something in my fiberglass. Yeah, that's, if you think that looks like a P-51 Mustang, it does. It's a scaled down version. I'm not sure what scale it is, but it will look just like a P-51 Mustang. And that's a new builder moved into the EAA hangar. And that is his project. He's going to be building the wings in here. Anyways, I've been pretty busy. One of the things I noticed that I completely forgot was to mount my GPS antenna. Really? Something that important? But yeah, it was stuck underneath here the whole time. I was working fine. But then I realized, hey, you know, it's supposed to be behind the windscreen, which I'm not sure if you can see it. It's there now, which means I had to drill a hole in the dash. So I had to drill a hole from underneath upwards, run the wire down, plug it back into the EFIS, yeah, in the dark hole there, and mount that GPS antenna. That was a pain in the backside. Huh, wasn't that easy. So, and from the dashboard area, let's just take a look. Yeah, that's, I think you can see it there. There we go. There's GPS antenna in the front. So, okay, so that is done. That's an oversight. A couple other little fiddly bits that I was cleaning up, and one very, very extremely important safety feature that I had not yet installed, but I just finished. Let me turn the camera around. You notice that red handle? Well, it's actually, it's a handle, but it's a tube. Yeah. Let me go to the other side of it. It's easier for me to film from that side. Pardon the rotten camera work from the $3 cameraman. Well, maybe it's just a $2 cameraman. I don't know. And I'll go back here. It's probably easier this way. There we go. Oh, okay. So let's take a look down here. That mechanism over there, that's the front end of the linear actuator that raises and lowers landing gear. It moves forward, lifts the landing gear, and it drops back and drops the landing gear. And this handle is tied to a cable that is right here. Let's see if maybe better lighting this way. And is hooked up to a pin, just a locking pin here, spring-loaded, whatever, you know, to this handle. Now this cable's got enough slack so that when this goes forward or back, nothing happens. But if for whatever reason I've got my landing gear up in the water landing position and the system fails, well, first off, the locks for the landing gear are still manual. That's these cables right here. And they're located right over here and on the other side. And those lock and unlock the main landing gear. The nose gear locks automatically when it's all the way down. And the only thing keeping it up is cable tension. That's how it was originally designed. No big deal. If you got with one of these puddle jumpers, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So if I've got the landing gear up, and I take off on the water, and I smell smoke, oh no, and something burnt, and I can't lower the gear. What do? Well, I unlock my main gear. I grab, let's go, you're gonna be upside down, sir. I grab this red handle and I yank real hard and it pulls that pin out. Everything releases and drops. Gravity drops the whole landing gear down and I relock everything and Bob's your uncle. You see, gravity is what was used originally to drop these landing gear when it was manually actuated. You would pull a handle and hook it on something, then you relock your main gear. And then when you wanted to drop them, you unlocked them, and you grabbed that handle and you unhooked it from a little hook thing, and you lowered it forward, and the landing gear went down. Okay, so gravity pulls the landing gear down. That's how it was designed. So by pulling that pin, it releases it, gravity takes hold, and down she goes, relock it, and then find out what went wrong when you land. So yeah, I have an emergency a landing gear extension system, and yeah, you don't need that if you're manual because it's always going down with you, but because I've got the linear actuator in there and so on. Anyways, that was the last thing I've done here. I only have a few more odds and ends to do here, but nothing really critical. I have something else. Let's take a look at, see that silver box? Inside that silver box is scales, designed for airplanes. There are 4 pads, because sometimes if your airplane's on floats, you have 4 wheels. This one only has 3. So you only use 3 of the pads, and you can do your weight and balance, that kind of stuff. So it's getting very close for me to weigh the airplane and find out how much I've lost or gained in weight. I know I've gained a little bit with the linear actuators, and the Garmin GTX 330 transponder is pretty heavy. Everything else, when I weighed all the stuff that I took off the old panel, the old steam gauges, and I weighed the new panel without the Garmin, it was lighter. So I lost weight by going to the EFIS, but then I gained some weight back with the transponder. So kind of a trade-off. Of course, you all know I moved the battery to the rear of the airplane to help with the CG and so on. So other than the Garmin and the linear actuator, I've put a couple of aluminum plates on. Total weight on all those things is about 1.5 to 1 3/4 pounds in aluminum. So not a whole heck of a lot of has been added to this airplane. It looks like it because there's a lot of little tiny fiddly bits, but these things are an ounce here and an ounce there, and I'm not counting ounces. So the airplane has to sit on its tail even with the floats on. Like when there's no, when the fuel tank is empty and it's in, has all the gear that it needs for flying, it's supposed to rest on its tail. And it does right now. Let me just go and demonstrate that. If I push down on the front, okay, there's a nose wheel. I let go, back she goes. Okay, so she's sitting on the tail. Now, I have a metal pipe on there so that it doesn't fall all the way down. That's adding some weight. I got to take that pipe off in order to weigh the airplane. Then I will find out just how much weight is on the tail. Well, that's with the cushions in, the paddle, life jackets, little canoe anchor, ropes, bailing little pump for the floats, all the things that are regulations required for a boat has to be carried on this airplane. And of course the Canadian air regulations, the cars, says that I need to carry a survival kit. That's usually consists of you know, some coffee, a candle, Band-Aid kit, that kind of stuff. But I have one put together that's considerably more than what Transport Canada requires if you're flying more than 25 nautical miles from your home base, which I will be. My survival kit is pretty extensive. I haven't weighed it yet, but I will very soon and figure out where to put it. I am thinking it might fit in that upper glove box that I built. Okay. Here, behind this plate is a triangular box that goes back to about here. Not all the way, they're a few inches short of that. So it's pretty substantial room inside there for, you know, a sill nylon tarp, first aid kit, energy bars, or what they call those ration bars. Anyways, things that if I have to make a landing on a lake and call for help and they say, oh, well, we won't be there till tomorrow, I've got a tarp and I can make a fire and I can make myself a cup of coffee and sit there and wait. And yes, I do have a Garmin, the InReach Messenger, the little black square one that I can do text messaging with. I do have that, and I've just activated the subscription to that too. So yeah, I've got to put that in, and then once this is loaded with everything that is going to take off with the exception of fuel, an empty tank. Now, if this were a 4-stroke engine, you would weigh it with the oil in the engine. Since it's a 2-stroke, I thought, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to put the oil, the 2-stroke oil, in the reservoir, which is up there. And that holds 2 liters of 2-stroke oil. And it is full right now. Exactly 2 liters is in there. And oh, don't worry about the hose. That's when I drained the fuel tank. I just got to put that back on the carb. That was just for draining. So yeah, it's getting real close. I have to outfit, equip it, finish, loading it with all the mandatory safety equipment, and then weigh it, and then we'll see where she comes out. So getting very close. After this, what I've done here today, I'm going to be doing another taxi test to test the new brakes. And this time I'm going to be doing some taxi testing up and down the runway, and low speed and some high speed taxi testing. I just want to make sure that nothing shakes and shimmies when you go up to, say, 30 knots or something, 35 knots. Not quite flying speed. I'm not going to be taking off with that at that point. And then when I do that, I bring it back in here in the hangar and do a major teardown. Well, not maybe major, but a full, complete inspection of every nut and bolt to make sure that nothing's shook loose, and that I am satisfied that that everything is tight and airworthy. And once that happens, first flight. So. Yeah, if you have an experimental airplane, you know what I'm talking about. You don't just jump into it and fly it. You have to test. You don't want to be a statistic. Oh, he just finished rebuilding the airplane, and first flight he crashed. Why? Well, because a wing fell off. You don't want that. You don't want to be that guy or girl. More women getting into this. I like that. Yeah, another taxi test. There's a whole lot of things I need to check off, and then based on that taxi test, I will determine whether or not the next one is going to be a flight. But like I said, there's after that a full inspection of everything to make sure nothing is out of the ordinary. So I did notice one little squawk when I was running it the last taxi test. Is my outside air temperature sensor said it was 110 degrees Fahrenheit outside. You got to find out what the heck. I must have been a loose wire or something. I got to find that. But that's the only squawk I noticed and I made note of, was the outside air temperature probe was misreporting the temperature. And it only affects you if you're worried about density, altitude, and that kind of stuff. If you're taking off on a hot summer day, you can look at your EFIS and say, okay, density altitude says I'm at 9,000 feet. The weight I've got in the airplane with full fuel, can I take off? Well, it wouldn't be 9,000, but you get the picture. So that's where we are. Thank you again for following along. And I do appreciate the comments and the subscriptions and the likes. Lots of likes. That's the update for now. This video should be dropping on Sunday, I think. I do have another one that I recorded. This might be 2 weeks delayed. We'll have to see. Anyways, that's it for now. Thank you very much for following along. I got to clean up all my tools and pack things up and get going because it's late already. It's 6:30 in the evening. And so I've been here. I only arrived here at 11 o'clock in the morning. So a lot of work. Again, see you in the hangar. Go Oilers. We'll see. Next game is in Edmonton as of this recording right now. So I don't know, maybe the game has already been played by the time you saw this and you know whether they won or lost. We'll see. Don't tell me, because, you know, I can hear it through the camera. You know, it works two ways, right? Some people might actually think that way. All right, keep your stick on the ice, and we'll see you again here in the hangar. Bye for now.